please stand for a pledge of allegiance.
City of Romulus City Council regular meeting for Monday, November 3rd. The roll will show that all members are present with the exception of Councilwoman Cho.
She's excused.
So noted. Tonight's council meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda, 2 minutes, 3 petitioner, 4 chairperson's report, 5 mayor's report, 6A clerk's report, 6B treasurer's report, 7 public comment, 8 unfinished business, 9 new business, 10 communication, and number 11 adjournment. And a motion would be in order to accept the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
A motion by Ms. Makowski, supported by Mr. Kraut, for approval of agenda as presented. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Agenda approved.
Number 2, minutes, under 2A, requesting approval of the corrected minutes from the regular council meeting held October 27th, 2014.
So moved for October the 27th, 2014.
Support.
Been motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Abdo, for approval of the corrected minutes from the regular council meeting held October 27th, 2014. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
2B, request approval of the minutes from the public hearing, special meeting held October 27th, 2014 at 6:45 p.m. And this was regarding the ZYNP International Corporation, and it was their request for a tax abatement.
So moved. Support.
Motion by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Kraut, for approval of the minutes from the public hearing, special meeting held October 27th, 2014 at 6:45 p.m. from the ZYNP International Corporation tax abatement request. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
There are no petitioners on the agenda. 4 is the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Earlier at 7 p.m., we had a study session explaining the local community support system plan for emergencies for the city of Romulus. And it's in detail where we be prepared for any kind of emergencies that may hit our city through locating, communicate with the mayor and the legal city council. At this time, I'd like to, Chair, going to recognize Council Member Mr. Wadsworth.
Thank you, Mr. Barton. If I could, and I meant to do this last week, and we had so many of them, I held off for a week on this, but I like a memorial resolution for one of our residents, Dennis. His last name is Hackett Jr., and if someone will support it, I'll expand on it. If I could talk about Dennis, he first moved into Romulus, him and his wife Amber, back in, I believe, in 1966. He was one of the first people to move in the Wincliffe sub. He passed away on Friday, October the 24th. He was married for over 50 years to his wife, Amber. They had 3 daughters. They had numerous grandkids. He was a retired master sergeant from the Air Force. Originally started here at the Metro Airport, and then they were transferred to Selfridge. Dennis was my friend for a long time. He bowled with us at the Romulus Lanes, and until the past about a year and a half, until that terrible disease of Alzheimer's took him over, he fought very courageously, but his battle came to an end on October the 24th, and he was buried out of St. Aloysius a week ago this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Wadsworth.
I'll give this to the clerk.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Makowski, for a memorial resolution for Dennis Hackett Jr. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Mr. Chairman, just if I could comment under discussion under Mr. Hackett. I went to school with one of his daughters. He also, as he had disease later in life, he still came to the senior center. He still recognized people. He's a great guy. You know, you couldn't miss him. As Mr. Wadsworth said, one of the first ones that moved in that development over there. So knew a lot of people, saw a lot of changes, but tough disease to go through at the end, but just want the family to know that he's in our thoughts and prayers. Thank
And
you.
if I can make just one other comment, we're going to miss him at our 5 o'clock mass every Saturday at St. Al's. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, that concludes the chairman's report.
Mr. Chair, if I may? move
Yes,
that
Ms.
we
Kowski.
Accept your report.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe, to accept the chairperson's report. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. Thank you.
Number 5 is the mayor's report.
Good evening, council, treasurer, clerk, and audience. Quick quote for tonight. 3 things that cannot be hidden: sun, the moon, and the truth. I thought that was a good one, appropriate one. Also, hopefully people remembered set their clocks back, which we have a little less daylight this time of year as we go towards the end of December. So my message is just, you know, be careful. Kids are out on the streets, kids are at school, kids are having after-school activities, so be a little more cautious, I guess, because there is less daylight. Real quick, and I know our treasurer will give a detailed report later, I just wanted to thank all the volunteers, either that came out or spent time or organized the Boo for Cancer event. I thought that was very successful, and no matter what you did or how you helped, thank you very much. Also, another event coming up, I'd like to bring up Bob McCrate, if you could. We've got some new events that are coming up around the Veterans Day holiday, and just want to have him briefly talk about that. Mr. McCrate?
Evening, Mayor, Council, Madam Treasurer, Madam Clerk. First of all, I want to thank everybody who helped the Veterans Outreach Committee. We did with the October Vets at the Michigan Veterans Foundation. We did a clothing and a food drive for the Veterans Shelter in Detroit. It's a shelter that houses 104 of our soldiers that have fallen on hard times while they transition back into regular life. They have programs to help these guys, and they also assist them getting jobs. It's a temporary shelter to get them back on their feet and get them out there. And during that, with the assistance we got with the city of Romulus, it's normally something that's done by Rolling Thunder, but Romulus helped out, and this year we astounded them with deliveries in their front and the back door. We had 3 trailers full and 2 vans full of clothing and food for the guys, so it was an overwhelming success. So I want to thank all those who supported us. But in that, we found that they had a great shortage of blankets. They were down to 3 blankets for the whole building. We did have a donor that gave us 500 at that time, so we gave those with blankets, but we also moved on to phase 2 of the program, and that's going to be a blanket drive. So anybody that might have any blankets, comforters, quilts, or Afghans, twin size sheet sets, gently used or new, they can drop those off at City Hall, the DPW at 12600 Wayne Road, Romulus Fire Station number 4, on Eureka Road, and the Athletic Center. So we'd love to have those, and we're going to try to take those down before Thanksgiving and make delivery to the guys who need some blankets down there. So it's another attempt to support those who have fought for our rights. So the other event that we have, Tuesday is quickly coming, and it's Veterans Day. So we are having our first annual Veterans Day parade. A parade from the Progressive Hall, starting at 9 o'clock, all the way to, or down Goddard Road to Bibbins, up to Hunt, and on to our new Veterans Plaza over at the Historic Society, or at the Historic Park, where we're going to do a ribbon cutting and a flag raising with the VFW, and it's another tribute to give back and honor those who served our country. I know Councilman Crowd, I know you served, and Councilman Wadsworth, you also, so thank you for your service, and we hope that everybody's there to show support for our veterans on Veterans Day.
Thank you, Bob. The items under my normal business report, first one up is 5A. What you have before you is a request to award bid 14/15-03. That's for water and sanitary sewer maintenance. Lowest bidder is Liquiform, Inc., and that's a 12-month contract with the option to extend to one-year extensions.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, for bid award 14/15-03, the water and sanitary sewer maintenance contract.
Support.
The motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Abdo, to award bid 14/15-03 for the water and sanitary sewer maintenance to the lowest bidder, Liquid Force Incorporated, for a 12-month contract with option to extend contract with 2 one-year extensions. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next up is 5B, and this is just to recognize the revenue for the corresponding grant dollars we got from Wayne County Park Grants. If you recall, that was your resolution 14-412, and that was for the Oak Brook Neighborhood Dog Park, and that was for $50,000.
Chair,
Yes, Ms. Roscoe.
I will make that motion to recognize the revenue and corresponding expense for the Wayne County Park Grant awarded and accepted by Council Resolution Number 4112, I'm sorry. Funds to be utilized towards the overall cost for the creation of the Oak Brook Neighborhood Dog Park.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Kraut, to recognize the revenue and corresponding expense for the Wayne County Park Grant awarded and accepted by Council Resolution Number 14-412. Funds to be utilized towards the overall cost for the creation of the Oak Brook Neighborhood Dog Park. Any discussion? Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next one up, same topic, 5C. This is just to recognize the final change order for the Oak Brook Park landscape and maintenance agreement with Brickman. The amount was $15,390. This is upgrades, and detailed photos were provided also this evening to show some of those upgrades.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Roscoe.
I'll make that motion to recognize change order number 1, final Oak Brook Park landscape and maintenance agreement with the Brickman Company in the amount of $15,390 for necessary upgrades prior to the park opening on October 18th, 2014.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, to recognize the change order number 1, final Oak Brook Park landscape and maintenance agreement with the Brickman Company in the amount of $15,390 for necessary upgrades prior to the park opening on October 18th, 2014. Discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next up is 5D, and what you have before you is a request to authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into an agreement with HealthLink EMS pertaining to the HIPAA rules that are followed between the Romulus Fire Department, HealthLink EMS, and it pertains to the patient and insurance information.
So move to support the agreement with, the HIPAA agreement with HealthLink EMS Romulus Fire Department.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe, to authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the agreement with HealthLink EMS pertaining to HIPAA rules to be followed between the Romulus Fire Department and HealthLink EMS as it pertains to patient and insurance information. Under discussion, the HIPAA rules is really just protection of your health information, that just anybody just can't come in and ask for information on your health. So that's what the HIPAA mean. It's one of the federal requirements. In discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next up is 5E. This is to authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into an agreement with HealthLink EMS for billing rules and collection for ALS intercept activities.
So moved to authorize the ALS intercept agreement with HealthLink EMS and Romulus Fire Department by the mayor and clerk.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe, to authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the agreement with HealthLink EMS for bidding rules and collection for ALS interception activities. Discussion. Ms. Makowski.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, council. Last item for actions, 5F. This is based on our 7 o'clock study session that we talked about earlier. Attached local support plan with Wayne County Homeland Security, Romulus.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Roscoe.
I'll make that motion to adopt the attached local support plan with Wayne County Homeland Security for the city of Romulus.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, to adopt the attached local support plan with Wayne County Homeland Security for the city of Romulus. Discussion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Roscoe.
I'd just like to say that this is a very important plan that we have. Citizens should know that there is a plan that if there's any kind of emergency, practically anything you can think of, that there's plans in place and there's upgrades being made to it all the time. And Wayne County requires us to update and give plans every 2 years back to them so they know that we're improving on everything that we do. So it's very, very important to know that there is a plan, there's a way to contact the citizens when there's an emergency and to let them know where to go and what to do.
And if I could, Mr. Chairman, just on top of that, this is the Wayne County plan, which is kind of their boilerplate plan that they asked all communities to put together. And as our Deputy Chief Kraus said earlier, we're taking it even to a further extent to make sure department by department, God forbid something happens, we have a plan and people know what to do, lessons, people being upset and concerned, and a protocol to follow to make sure our residents are safe and we take care of business. So,
Thank you. It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Wadsworth. Roll call. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
thank you, council. That concludes my report.
Thank you.
6A is the clerk's report, and before I ask council to take action on my line item, I would like to ask council for a memorial resolution for Gerald Krampitz. He passed away October the 27th.
So moved, Mr.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for memorial resolution for Jerry Krampitz. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
And I'd like to ask for a second memorial resolution. We've been doing quite a few of these, and unfortunately, these last couple of weeks. This is for Herman Bader. We can ask council to take action, and I'd just like to have a comment.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Support.
Under discussion, Mr. Bader served as an election worker for numerous years, up until about 2 years ago, and I'm not sure all the circumstances, but just learned of his passing. But he was really a nice gentleman, and he was very committed to serving as an election inspector. He served over at Merriman School when the precincts were there, so just my condolences go out to his family.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for a memorial resolution for Herman Bader. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
And just want to remind everybody, which I'm sure everyone knows, tomorrow's Election Day. And I really hope that everyone, if you have not already voted by absentee ballot, but that you will come out to the polls tomorrow. I've checked the weather. It's supposed to be about 62 degrees, a little cloudy, only 20% chance of rain, so it should be a good day. So, you know, remind a neighbor, remind a friend, remind your relative to come out to the polls tomorrow. Polls open at 7 o'clock a.m.
Right.
And with that, I'm asking council to take action on 6A1 for second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 1415-9, Motor Vehicle Fund in the amount of $185,000, and this is for the Fire Department fleet upgrades, funds realized through sales of older fire apparatus and equipment, already budgeted funds, and grant matched funds. And this amendment was introduced at the council meeting of October 27th, 2014.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, for second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 14/15-9. It's the motor vehicle fund in the amount of $185 for the fire department.
Support.
The motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Kraut, for second reading and final adoption of a budget amendment 14/15-9 motor vehicle fund for the amount of $185,000. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. That concludes the clerk's report.
Thank you.
6B is the treasurer's report.
Good evening, council, mayor, clerk, and audience. I wanted to talk a little bit about the fundraiser that took place on November 1st. We have two employees that are battling cancer, and Mr. Gibson was kind enough to ask us to go ahead and do the fundraiser for the DeMoisey family. And so I want to thank him for that. That was very generous, and people need to know that. However, on November 1st, we had a fundraiser, and the City of Romulus, the residents, businesses, friends, family, loved ones, all came together, came out for a good cause, and our goal was to raise $10,000, and we did that. We raised almost $13,000, and that was due to everybody opening up their pocketbooks and helping out. And I want to let everybody know that we had a great team of people. It didn't matter who we asked, but they stepped up to the plate and they helped in any way that they could. We had over 50 baskets that were donated. We had a great time, and Debbie and her family really appreciated that. So I want to thank each and every one of you, whoever played any kind of role in this, thank you. And what I've learned from this, I've known, and I just want to say it again, Romulus is a great community. When things happen and we need people, Romulus people step up. They do. They step up, they help out, and they're there in a time of need. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Number 7 is public comment, and this is a portion of our meeting that's open to the public for comments and remarks. If you would like to have your comment, please raise your hand after being acknowledged by the chairperson. Approach the podium stating your name and your address, and we ask that you please limit your comments to 3 minutes. We do not have any written requests.
Any, yes, Ms. Martin.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, welcome.
Good evening to all of you. My name is Lisa Martin. I am a candidate for 34th District Court, and I've been watching these council meetings on YouTube on Tuesday afternoons. But I wanted to come by tonight for 2 reasons. First, as Madam Clerk has already said, to encourage people who haven't already voted to come out and vote tomorrow. Secondly, as a candidate, I have driven and walked a lot of Romulus, places I hadn't seen before, even though I've been living out this way for about 8 years. And I've been amazed at the work that you all are doing. The Goddard Road in front of my mother-in-law's house is being redone right now. My dog and I have gone to the dog park and truly enjoyed it. And I just wanted to come tonight and say thank you to each of you who have been so helpful and supportive and had a word of encouragement for me over these last 8 months. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Any other comments? Yes, Ms. Williams, you?
Mr. Barton. Good evening, Mayor, Council, Clerk, and Treasurer. Last week, I was here at the city, and I had a conversation with one of the Police, Fire, and Safety Commission, Mark Wilhite, and he had it wrongly mistaking that, at first he accused me of saying on the 27th of July, if I'm not mistaken, or 28th, that I said something pertaining to the police when the family was here. I watched that council meeting and I didn't. So I want the people to know that he may be telling it's not true. I didn't say anything. My comment to the council was pertaining to the road not being blocked off. The other comment that I made the same night was about the proposal amendment. What I did is ask a question. When the previous mayor was here, I did the same thing. So the new administration, it's not going to be any different. I'm going to ask the same questions. You know, if it's something that I want to know, I'm going to ask. That's the only way to get the truth. You guys know, if it's anything that I'm truly against, I'm going to say no. To your face. I mean, I'm not going to be behind your back telling people to vote no, or I don't, believe what you put on the ballot. I simply asked a question. Ms. Kowalski and Linda Choke, they tried to answer the best they could. Ms. Braggs tried to answer it. I wanted to know that night, was it any kind of way that you were going to make it public to the people since you were taking it out of the paper? That was my question. So I just wanted to make it known to the mayor, to the council, that Mark was mistakenly wrong. And because he's a member of 2 different commissions, does not give him the right to yell and be upset with a resident because they don't agree with him. So I'm asking the council and the mayor, you need to have a talk with him. Really. Because as I said to him, right here in the council building, right here in the city council building, he was loud. The chief came out. The chief of staff came out. You can't, just because you don't agree with a person, don't mean you have to yell and scream. Any charter commission person, any commission person, period, that our mayor has put in place is representing this city. And every resident have a right to their own opinion, whether the council like it, whether the mayor like it, or any of the workers like it. That's their right. That's their constitutional right. So he need to be talked to and maybe sent for anger management because he was way out of control. But I wanted to bring it back to you to let you know. That night, I sit and watch the meeting on YouTube. And thank God that you put it on there. I did not, what I asked the council is what were you doing? And I've been doing that way before the new administration came forward. And if you didn't have any problems with me asking the former mayor that's not here anymore, you shouldn't have a problem with the new administration. So, I beg of you, before something seriously happens, to talk with that commissioner because he's representing the city, okay? And because someone comes to council and says something that he don't agree with or he don't like, does not give him the right to yell and scream at him. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Any other comments? Yeah, Ms. Conway.
Lynn Conway, 11506 St. Aloysius Street. I'm a committee supporting Romulus Charter Revisions member. I want to echo our clerk's reminder and one of our candidates for judge that tomorrow is election day. This is my last chance to give everyone information regarding our proposals that are appearing on the ballot. Proposals 13.1 and 13.2 are regarding publishing and purchasing. They will not increase your taxes. They're an opportunity for the city to save some money on our advertising expense and to become more efficient in our purchasing operations. Allow us to participate in cooperative bidding opportunities that from other government agencies across the state and the country. This is a good thing for the city. It'll save money. It'll expand our opportunities to advertise on the internet and get additional bidders in on our bids. I encourage everyone to get out tomorrow and vote, and to consider voting yes on these two proposals. And I want to remind everybody that it's two sides to your ballot. The proposals are on the back side of your ballot, and don't forget to include, vote on the back side of your ballot. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Conway. Any other comments? Yes, Ms. Webb.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Clerk, Treasurer. I'm Eva Webb, 11049 Moore Street. I wasn't going to say anything, and I usually try to keep quiet during the election time, but I can't this evening due to the fact, I must say, one of our finest, one of Romulus's finest firemen is running for school board, his second term. And I tell you, I have seen that young man in action. Our firemen are the elite of this city, next to our police department, of course, because of crime. But John, I have seen John take little children and do mouth to mouth without hesitating. Although we don't do that anymore, Deputy, I understand, don't get it wrong. But I'm going back to when mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, Mayor, that's what I was speaking of on children years ago when John was first a fireman. And firemen did that back then because they did not have the equipment. But all I'm saying is he has worked hard, and he does represent this city very, very well. And when you take a fireman, they have a total different mentality in regards to saving lives. It's almost like a doctor. I've seen them go into burning buildings. I've seen them pull people out of vehicles. Our firemen are wonderful. And John Theed, I hope that the residents think about him tomorrow when they go out and cast their vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Webb. Any other comments? Okay, we will close that part out.
Number 8 is unfinished business. Number 9 is new business.
Yes, Ms. Abdo.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to congratulate Coach Tom Patterson and the boys varsity football team this year. Finished a winning year with a 6-3 record, which qualified them for the first time since 2000 for the state playoffs. We played the game last Friday. Unfortunately, they didn't make it any further, but they had a great year, and I'd like to congratulate them and the team.
Thank you, Ms. Abdo.
If there's no more communication, then number 11 is
Communication.
Yes, I'm in a hurry. I guess we're on communication?
Now we're on communication now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay,
In a hurry.
sorry.
Okay.
Wonder.
Oh, you have lots to do. I do.
Communication.
Okay.
I have one. Well, it's that time of year again. Some of you may have already gotten your can-do bags on your doors. The Boy Scouts were out last Saturday putting them out. That is where we collect canned goods, dry goods for the needy. And the one thing about it is Troop 872 that I work with, all our canned goods, all the food we collect goes back to Helping Hands. And I know this time of year they're always needing more food on their shelves, on their pantries. Thanksgiving's coming. They do up things for families for Thanksgiving. So ask you to, if you've got a bag in your door, put it out this Saturday. They'll be picking up sometime during the day, picking them bags up. But also, if you don't have a bag on your door and you want to give some canned goods or dry goods or anything like that, you can always drop it off at Helping Hands, or you can contact our Boy Scout troop. You can call up here to Jasmine up the City Hall, and she can get the information to us, and we will get that picked up from you and get that over to Helping Hands. But anyways, just start remembering the holidays are coming. There's a lot of people out there in need, and not just during the holidays, but all year long. But it just seems like we're just usually out there. It seems like we think about them more during this time of year. But Goodfellas will be coming up and going in December, and but anything you can do is appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Roscoe.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
I just want to put a plug in their communication. I'm not going to push any political candidates, but as an elected official, we don't lose our right to give our personal view. And this charter amendment issue that came up that we've heard talk time and time again at many different meetings and that Lynn Conway and her group spoke on, it's important. I've gotten a lot of questions about it. It is not a tax increase. It's actually a huge potential savings. So when the charter was drafted in 1970, it made a lot of sense to advertise for bids that way, but this opens up a lot of avenues for efficiencies. So I believe all the electeds up here have endorsed the ballot proposals 13.1 and 13.2, but a lot of times the residents don't always, I know there's a lot of things on the ballot, it's on the back side of the ballot, so please take the time to be thoughtful and look at that. This could help our city move forward and save money, and it just makes all the sense in the world. So just wanted to give my encouragement to the residents to consider voting yes on both those proposals, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Is there any more communication? Okay, then, number 11 is adjournment.
So moved. Support.
Motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Malkowski for adjournment. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Malkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Abdo? Chair votes yes. We are adjourned. Thank you.